Hey, Grace House Churches. I hope that you're all doing well as we head into the brand new year. This week, we took Sunday off from physically attending church and did church at home. And I hope that you and your family were able to take a little bit of a break and enjoy the video message that we prepared. I want to share a few takeaways from that message to help us remember it and guide our discussion for house church. As we head into the new year, most of us are reflecting on our previous year and putting together a plan on how we can do things differently this year. And most of us know these goals as resolutions. We make resolutions in hope of bettering our lives or becoming a better version of ourselves. We usually start out strong with big plans to get healthy, spend more time with loved ones, and grow closer to God. But somewhere along the way, we fizzle out. We experience this tension between who we are and who we want to be. Paul captures this so well in Romans 7:15. I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. And it's not just resolutions, it's life. Whether it's trying to be a better parent, a more present spouse, or more disciplined in prayer, we often find ourselves falling short. So what do? How do we begin to live a different life? How do we begin to change our current reality? We begin by letting God change our perspective, by letting Him change the way in which we see the world. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Real transformation doesn't come from willpower, it comes from God. And so I want to share 3 perspective shifts that have the power to change our lives. Number 1 is to shift our perspective of time. Time is one of the most precious gifts that we have, but we often waste it. Scrolling through social media, binge watching shows, and doing things that really don't matter. But if we lived each day like it was our last, I guarantee you that we would not waste our time. Ephesians 5:15 through 16 teaches us, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. When we see time as a gift from God, we start to prioritize what truly matters. Loving God, loving people, and making an eternal impact. Number 2 is to shift our perspective of love. In our culture, love is often seen as a feeling, but God shows us that it's an action, a choice to sacrifice for others. Think about it like this. At the end of your life, what will matter most? Not how much money you made, but how you loved and how you showed it. Mark 12:30 through 31 reminds us of God's greatest commandment, which is to love God with all our heart and love our neighbors as ourselves. So this year, let's focus on relationships. Let's love sacrificially the way Jesus loved us, because at the end of the day, people are what matter most. And number 3 is to shift our perspective on trials. Trials are tough, but James 1:2 through 4 challenges us to see them as opportunities for growth. When we trust that God is using even the hardest seasons to shape us, we move from despair to hope. And God doesn't waste a single hurt. He's refining us, teaching us how to rely on Him, and building our faith. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Let's ask, what is God teaching me through this? That small shift in perspective can change everything. And so when we see these 3 perspective shifts on time, love, and trials, and they take hold in our hearts, they will completely transform our motivation for life and for God. And so that transformation that we're seeking in our lives is not going to come from trying harder. It's going to come from surrendering our lives to Jesus and His leading. And so I want to give you guys some steps on how you can surrender successfully this year. Number 1, Give God the first day of every week and commit to attending church regularly. Number 2, give God the first part of every day and spend time in prayer and reading the Bible. Number 3, give God the first portion of your income by trusting that He's guiding your finances, and that'll lead you to give generously. Number 4, give God the first consideration of every decision and ask God for wisdom in every choice that you make. And number 5, the last one, is to join a house church. This will help you surround yourself with people who will encourage you to live with an eternal perspective. Because here's the truth. God doesn't just want you to survive in 2025. He wants you to thrive. And that doesn't mean that life will be perfect or easy, but it does mean that you will live with peace, purpose, and resilience when you let Him guide your steps. So as we step into this year, let's surrender our time, our love, and our trials to Him. Let's trust Him to do the transforming work in us and through us that only He can do. And so Happy New Year, Grace House Churches. I am praying that 2025 is a year of eternal purpose, deeper relationships, and a transformation rooted in Jesus. God bless you guys.